Why does a regular person who's not filming YouTube videos need an induction cooktop? They're really handy. You can cook anywhere with them. You can bring them outside and cook. That's what I used to use the one I had for before it broke. I would cook outside and I would use it for frying or cooking anything that was particularly stinky. The wife is a little bit sensitive to smelling up the house when I cook. So if I'm gonna do anything that's really powerful, I'll take this outside and I'll cook it outside. I do have a side burner on my grill, but the problem is if it's even slightly windy, I can't get the pan hot enough to do frying or anything like that. So these things are really handy. What are they? An induction cooktop uses electricity and some sort of magic, I don't know the exact science from it, to heat up the pan. They're really cool because when you put a pan on it, the pan gets hot, but once you take the pan away, the cooktop is still cool. Now they only work with certain kinds of pans. They have to be usually stainless steel, cast iron works really well. Certain types of pans, they'll usually have a symbol on them that'll say that they're induction cooktop compatible. Usually you can test them to tell if it's gonna work is if you have a magnet, stick a magnet to the bottom of your pot or pan. If it sticks, it's gonna work with the induction cooktop. So I picked this one up on Amazon for like $65 or $70. Nobody gave me it. It's not a sponsored ad. It's not a hashtag ad. I paid for this with my own money, so I'm gonna give you my legitimate review of this unit and see what it's like. But first, we gotta open it up. Let's see what we got. What does Dad do at boxes? All right. Layer of plastic. Yeah. These guys are cool. They gave you a tester. So this is a little magnet. You stick it to the bottom of whatever pot or pan you're trying to use. If it sticks, it's gonna work on the induction cooktop. If it doesn't, it's not. That's pretty cool. And you could use a refrigerator magnet. I have a ton of those from Disney. But I think that's a nice little touch. We get a card that says, thank you for choosing your product. Gives you a email to send if you have any questions or feedback. And a user manual. Sometimes I'll read these, but these are pretty simple, man. So I can tell I already like this one better than the one I had before. The one I had before had like a sticker almost on the outside over the buttons and everything. So eventually from the heat and being used, that stuff all started to warp. And I don't know if I don't think a sticker caused it to fail. It just eventually stopped working. But this one's all solid, one piece of glass on the top. All the buttons are just screen printed on here. Pretty nice. It's got a fan on the bottom, lots of cooling vents, which is good because they will get a little warm. And they're pretty simple. You've got an on-off button. You can set a temperature. You can usually set it by either like you can go to a direct temperature, or you can usually on the other one, you'd be able to do like high, low, medium, or it actually had numbers. You can do 400 degrees, 390 degrees. It says, caution, do not touch. I like it. Let's get some close-ups. Looks pretty good. Let's test it out. So you got the induction cooktop. What's your first step? Your first step is to find out if your cookware works with the induction cooktop. So this is my handy dandy little ceramic coated pan. It's my nonstick pan. I only use it for eggs really. That's about the only thing I cook nonstick. Everything else I cook with stainless steel or cast iron. So let's find out if this thing was gonna work with our induction cooktop. Take your handy dandy magnet that they've given you, pop it on. That's not gonna work. Most of your non-stick pans are not induction friendly. There are a few, they're a little bit pricier. I don't really recommend having to have many non-stick pans, and eggs aren't anything that's really a big deal or super stinky, or so it's not a big deal to not have this pan work for me on the induction cooktop. I honestly don't use it that much. So what's our next thing? Check out this stainless steel frying pan. This I use a lot. I use this for everything. I cook meats, I cook vegetables, I cook stir fries, just about everything in here. I'll throw oil in here and pan fry. So this is a very versatile pan. I suggest you guys get yourself some stainless steel cookware. It's fantastic. This is not even expensive stuff. This is something I found at Kohl's on clearance once. So let's check if this one's gonna work. Got a handy dandy magnet, pop it on. Hey, look at that. It's gonna work. That's it. That's how you go ahead and test all your cookware. So let's run a test. To run a test, you've got to put something in the pan. You can't run these with the pan dry. It will heat up super fast, too much, and it'll actually break the induction cooktop. So we're just gonna throw some water in it. I'm not really gonna cook anything with it right now. I will be cooking my first video with it today, and that's gonna be how to cook a steak without any gadgets. This is a gadget technically. You don't need to have this, you can cook it on your stovetop. So let's go ahead and try this out. All right, I've switched to overhead for this one. I think it'll be able to give us a little bit better of a view of what's going on. So once you plug the unit in, you get a beeping on-off signal. Like I told you, it's very important not to heat anything on here without something in it. So for this test, we're just gonna throw some water in it. We're gonna throw our pan down, and we're gonna drop a little bit of water in there. So, on. And then we're gonna hit function. It has a couple of different settings. The fan's mildly loud, which for me, I'm gonna have to do voiceover on all the videos. But the two settings are wattage and temperature. So you can set it to between I think it's 1200 watts and 100 watts. Or I would just make it a little bit easier, hit function one more time and go by a temperature. So this one's set to 380. Let's set it all the way up to its highest setting, which is 460. And let it go. Let's see how long it takes to boil this water.
So that was about 2 minutes later, and we've got a boil going. That's pretty fast.
Let's wrap this up with some thoughts. The unit worked. It heated up the water really fast. The fan was mildly loud. That would be my only drawback for me when filming videos. For most people, that's not a big deal at all. Overall, I'd say this is a good looking unit. We'll see how it performs over time, but it was a decent value. I don't think it was very expensive. And I think it's a useful tool for anybody. If you're a college kid, if you live in a very small apartment and don't have the greatest kitchen or cooking space, these things are great. They come in handy. They work for parties. You can use them to heat food up at a party. If you're a caterer, they'd be great. For me, I think it's going to be a game changer for making better videos. So I'm really excited to start cooking with this. Speaking of cooking with this, I'm going to do my next video. How to cook a steak the easy way, without gadgets. Check it out. I'll put a link in here. Okay, everybody. When it comes to gadget reviews, Dad got this. If you want to pick one of these up, I'll throw a link down in the description on the post, and you can go ahead and pick one up. Fair warning, I am an Amazon affiliate. I do get a little bit of a commission if you purchase something using one of my Amazon links. Just putting it out there. That's the only hashtag ad part about this. Nobody gave me this unit. I paid for it with my own money. So that's Dad's honest review. Now, go cook something.